offset currents and voltages are produced and what impact they have. And here you see this circuit. See this circuit. It is a regular op-amp circuit with the inverting terminal getting the supply. Through R1, that is the input resistance, we are connecting, and R2 is the feedback resistance. Now, due to the capacitance effect, there is this capacitance which is connected, or sometimes for converting the impedances properly to make the input and output impedance ratios proper, this is used. To balance this input resistance, there is resistance R3 connected to the non-inverting terminal and the other end is grounded. Now, because of these three resistors, one device, one source and one capacitance, see the electrical equivalent network of this. Now, here there is a source which is providing you the voltage. To this source, for analysis purpose, the source resistance, we consider it to be 0. But in practice, this source resistance is not 0. Similarly, there is this resistance, input resistance to inverting terminal R1. So our calculations usually are the source resistance, ignoring the source resistance, this voltage level, whatever drops here at the inverting terminal is minus with the source drop, source resistance drop. So because of this, there is going to be some voltage difference which is going to be present between this terminal and the inverting terminal. Similarly, there is this resistance R3. Ideally speaking, if these two currents are same, the bias current to the inverting and non-inverting terminal, if they are equal, then the difference in these two voltages is going to be 0, which gives us 0 DC offset. But in practice, if there is a difference, assume that IN is the current to the inverting terminal and IP is the current through the non-inverting terminal, then IP minus IN will be the current difference. This also introduces some voltage difference at the two terminals or at the two inputs. Now, in ideal case, what is going to be the output equation? For this circuit, the output equation VO can be written as this, where R2 by R1 is the simple inverting gain with a minus sign into Vs. So this is the contribution by this plus. Now whatever is the potential difference here, VIO, existing between the inverting and non-inverting terminals. So this is the bias voltage difference which is existing between the two terminals. So this is applied between these two. So the gain of this is going to be 1 plus R2 by R1 dash. Now what is this R1 dash? Here you can see R1 dash is the actual resistance at the input terminal, which is equal to R1 plus the source resistance. So R1 dash is the true resistance present at the input. Usually we consider R1 as the input resistance which we have connected externally. but there is source resistance which is in series. So here you can see in this circuit R1 plus Rs is the true resistance which is available at this point. So here the gain is 1 plus R2 by R1 dash in all the cases. Whether it is inverting gain or non-inverting gain. So in the denominator, the input resistance is instead of R1, it is going to be replaced by R1 plus Rs. So the voltage which is applied through the non-inverting terminal is nothing but the bias voltage difference VIO, and the gain of this non-inverting mode is equal to 1 plus R2 by R1 dash. So this is the contribution due to the VIO voltage. Next, there is going to be some drop here across R2 due to the current flowing here. Due to the current, which current is that? That is the IN current or the bias current at the inverting terminal. So IN into R2, because we already know that there is no current which flows into the device, because assuming the potential differences are zero. So all the analysis is done considering this factor. So the current IN which is here, that is going to flow to this into R2. And taking the direction into consideration, plus IN into R2, because the current is flowing away. Next, due to IP, that is the current at the non-inverting terminal. So IP into R3 is this resistance and the voltage into 1 plus R2 by R1 dash. So this is as usual the non-inverting gain. Plus this is the overall gain of the amplifier. Now what is this overall gain? There is only this difference gain AD is considered. Assuming common mode rejection ratio to be infinite. So your AC is equal to 0. Considering AC is equal to 0, there exists only the difference gain AD. So the total feedback factor is this. Now in all the practical cases, this factor is not considered, or this is equal to 1. Why is that? This difference gain is considered to be very, very high than 1. So AD into beta, that is the feedback factor, is also greater than 1. So when this is very, very high than 1, so this almost becomes 1 by this becomes almost equal to 0, a fraction, 0.00001. So 1 divided by 1 plus 0.0001 is nearly equal to 1. So this factor 1 divided by 1 plus 1 divided by AD into beta is equal to 1. Nearly equal to 1 it is. So because of this, your output VO is simply equal to this, ignoring this parameter. So now the overall gain of this op-amp, for inverting it is minus R2 by R1, for non-inverting it is 1 plus R2 by R1 dash. Now after arriving at this, what is the output zero error? So the output zero error is nothing but the output available when both the inputs are 0. So when both the inputs are 0, here this V source is equal to 0. So exclusively it is due to VIO and the two bias currents. So the output due to only the bias current, IN and IP and VIO. So this parameter is not considered now because Vs is equal to 0. So to calculate output zero error, that is nothing but the output when both the inputs are zero or when there is no input given to the op-amp. This is the output. And in all practical cases, this IN is equal to IP, which is equal to the bias current IIO. So when this IIO is the difference in these two currents, the positive and the negative current or the bias currents which are flowing in this inverting and non-inverting terminals. This can be plus or this can be minus. It depends which is greater. IN is greater or IP is greater. Depending upon that, your IIO, which is the difference between the two currents, that is the offset currents, it depends upon, the sign depends upon which current is greater. So now this is the total offset current into R2, and this is the difference or the offset voltage applied between the inverting and non-inverting terminal into naturally the non-inverting terminal, because the inverting terminal you are grounding it by reducing Vs to 0. So the output zero error is due to the offset voltage VIO and the offset current II. Now what is the input zero error? Now we know output zero error or the output voltage is available due to the input available at this. So input into the gain of the circuit gives you the output voltage. So when you know output zero error, input zero error is equal to output zero error divided by the gain. What is the gain of this op-amp? R2 divided by simply the feedback resistance divided by the input resistance. The feedback resistance is R2 and input resistance is R1 dash, which is equal to R1 plus RS. RS is considered because Vs source is simply grounded. That means the device is still into the network. It is connected in the circuit. It is not completely taken out. So source is simply reduced to 0. Because of that, R1 dash exists. So this is the formula. So the input zero error is equal to this. Output zero error divided by R2 by R1 dash. So here if you divide this by R2 by R1 dash, you get this one. So these are the two errors, output zero error and input zero error. This is how you can calculate. If there is a difference in the bias voltages, you get these two voltages. If by adjusting the resistor values, say R1, R2, you can minimize these zero errors. And also because these resistors, these input zero error and output zero error are dependent on these resistor values, if you use lesser value resistors, automatically this can be reduced to a smaller number. So that in the next circuit, the gain factors are reduced and you get minimum error propagated to the next stage. So this is regarding output zero error and input zero error. Now bias currents, here for assumption we have considered them to be equal. And whenever, if the difference in the bias currents is very, very high, then your IIO, this difference is too high. So because the difference is too high, naturally the two difference amplifiers or the two terminals, they are maintained at different potentials, which produces a larger value of difference gain due to the difference in these two currents. As a result, the zero errors are increased. So to avoid that, always the bias currents are always compensated. So when not equal, the compensation network is used. Because this IIO difference, if it is too high, it produces lot of errors. So to produce the compensation, again the resistive networks are used. When you make use of these resistive networks, always the temperature differences or the temperature variations play a very important role. Now these temperature variations, for some resistors, if they produce larger variation, and for some resistors, if they produce smaller variations, then the same compensation or the same calculations which are applied to both the resistors are not going to work. So usually what is done is the resistors of similar make or the similar composition are used, so that the compensation network and the calculations which are used are applicable for the entire setup. Because especially the drift, which is exclusively due to the temperature variations, this may cause lot of change in the output voltage, and the final results may not be correct. So this temperature compensation here. These resistors R1, R2, R3 we are using. Properly this R1, R3, if they are adjusted, then automatically the effect of this RS can be nullified. So for this, there is a condition here. R3 should be equal to R1 dash parallel R2. This value, if it is chosen, then the effect of this R1, R2, R3 and RS is also considered here in this R1 dash. So those things can be compensated properly and adjusted for the bias or the offset voltages. Now I would like to discuss little more on this drift. So this drift part I will discuss in the next class. The temperature compensation and drift.